And I'm me, like me and you.
as always. All right, tonight's guest, we have a special guest tonight. We got an email from, I guess, your producer, or
Yes.
someone who's putting you out there. She's an attorney, but not just an attorney, but a divorce attorney, and also a yoga instructor, which is quite a unique combination. So she can, I guess, write up your lawsuit or your divorce papers, and also help you breathe after.
Yeah.
So welcome, Sarah Interrogator, also Interrogator.
Interrogator. I've been called that before. So yeah, whatever.
Well, I guess she is an interrogator.
I mean,
am,
she's probably
technically.
done
yeah.
quite a few. What do they call those?
Cross examinations. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been part of where they, what are they? They bring you in a room, they have a camera. Depositions.
Yeah.
Those suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you one of the bad ones?
No, I don't like to think of myself as one of the bad ones. I mean, I guess it depends which side of the table you're on.
Oh yeah. It depends
That's
on who
true.
she's defending.
That's true.
The other party's gonna think that she's the bad one.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about your book? She's also written a book,
Yes.
right?
And a writer. Is this your
Yeah.
first or second book?
It's my first book. Yeah. So, okay. Let me dive in. So, I'm obviously a divorce attorney, and my book is called Live, Laugh, Find True Love. And it's basically a divorce attorney's step-by-step guide to finding a meaningful relationship. So totally contradictory. Why would I want to sabotage my career? The book is so bad for business, right? Well, I have been divorced. I'm remarried happily now, but I watch people go through divorces every single day. And divorces are obviously really financially and emotionally costly. A lot of times they involve children who are dragged through really, really horrible things by their parents, and they
Yeah.
suffer for it in the long run and in the short term, but really in the long run. And if I could prevent anybody from going through that, and specifically from children from having to go through that, to hell with my business. I'm fine with that, because I think that it's really important that people find meaningful relationships and don't get divorced. Divorce sucks.
Yeah, you're trying to think of the next generation. From when I hear that, I'm like, it sucks now, but it's the children. It really
Yeah.
is, and I don't understand people that don't get that. Like,
Yeah.
put your differences aside, be cordial. I've been through it too. Divorces suck, and it was rough to just keep my composure for the kids constantly. So I'm with you, and
Yeah.
you're never going to go out of business. So
Well,
don't
I
worry about that.
stayed in a miserable marriage just because of the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not uncommon. I see it happen all the time. And, it's great if people can do it and still shield children from the conflict. But a lot of times what happens is that the conflict spills over.
Yes.
And it's still there, and the kids are witnessing, and they're taking it in, and they're learning how to interact with people and how to show love and how to be loved and all this stuff.
So, in your opinion, which is worse? Staying in, I mean, they're probably really bad, but staying in a miserable marriage just for the kids, or getting an awful divorce? And
So I'm going to
because
give
both,
you
I mean, the kids will be
lawyer
messed
answer.
up either way. Yeah, the lawyer answer.
I don't think they'll be messed up either way. I think that I'm going to give you the lawyer answer, which is it depends. And I think it really depends on the circumstances. So there are studies out there, there's lots of research out there that shows that children who live in two separate households, their parents are divorced and the parents amicably co-parent and they get along well, those children thrive and they do really well. But there are also studies out there that show that children whose parents are constantly fighting, or children whose parents go through a really acrimonious, bitter divorce and they drag their children through the mud, that those children have higher rates of depression, anxiety, suicidal ideations, and even rates of suicide, higher rates of promiscuity and teen pregnancy, like all these things. And it comes down to the choices the parents make. So yes, children can live super happily in two separate households if the parents can amicably co-parent. And then the problem becomes, if two people got along really well and were able to navigate co-parenting really effectively, then they probably wouldn't be getting divorced in the first place. So now you're asking
Right.
people to suddenly get along when the reason they're getting
Right.
divorced in the first place is that they can't get along. So it's kind of
Right.
an ironic thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. We always look for the positive, and I'm just, as you're saying that, like the ability for a child to cope with change it's almost like forced onto them change, but I think it's a positive. And if you can take that away, they're able to see how it is to
Yeah.
live in different environments, and they can take that into their adulthood
Yeah.
as a positive to say, I'm a chameleon. I can work in this world, because if once you're in the world, it's up to you to survive.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of take that positive away, that putting them through some things at a young age can mold and create like a nice little I don't know, personality for them, that they can cope with things better as adults. Do you see that as a positive?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely some utility to that. I think there's validity to it that you know, everything in life offers us a lesson, and it's really just how
Yep.
we choose to look at things. And this is like me putting on my yoga teacher hat here, right? And so if we use I have many different hats. If we use this divorce as kind of an opportunity to teach a beautiful lesson about fluidity and being flexible and understanding that life is full of change, and how do we deal with adversity in a positive way. There are lessons to that, certainly, that create amazing strength in life. But also, we are who our children model their behavior after. And so if they
Yes.
see us
I love that.
if they see us completely falling apart and going to like a very base place,
Hmm.
then they're going to interpret that very
Yes.
differently.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean,
I
my
agree.
ex and I get along, or I get along great with my ex. Both actually been married twice, and I get along with both of my exes, and I did it for the kids.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that they see that I don't talk nasty or ill things about their dad.
yeah,
And because I don't want them to grow up thinking their dad was a bad person. I want them to know that their dad was a good person and
yeah.
is a good person, even though it wasn't like that. But I wanted them to think that.
Well,
And
and I
even
hear,
now, as adults, they, you know, I still talk great about them.
yeah, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I hear a lot of family law judges say this. Like, this is something they often say to family law litigants, is they say your child is half you and half the other parent.
Hmm.
And so if you're talking poorly about the other parent, the child thinks, well, half of me is the other parent, so half of me must be bad.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
there's a lot of damage that can be done through that. And
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes to rise above it and to kind of put your differences aside. But it's really, ultimately, it boils down to, do you love your child more? Do you hate the other person more? What's more important?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That is a great question to answer.
it is.
Yes.
All right, let's do a fun fact real quick. We do this fun fact segment. All right, so
Okay.
the humans lie once every 8 minutes in casual conversations. So in a relationship, the most common lie is "I'm fine." So would that be, translation is "I'm fine, but I'm about to subpoena you." So how does the legal system like even compensate for lies, which we've all dealt with, or other people completely lying for, and with no
Mhm.
validity to it, without evidence, and the divorce proceedings is kind of, I don't know, it's up in the air with that lot of that. I got drugged
Yeah.
through so many lies, and that it just how do you do that if you get a client and you know they're lying, or you feel like they're lying?
Okay. So there are two separate questions in there, right?
Yeah.
About how does the system deal with lying, and how do I deal with a client who I think might be lying? So I'll answer the first one, which is, how does the system sort of deal with it? And every state has its own separate family laws, right? And its own family code. So I think that every state handles it probably somewhat differently, but I know that in California, where I am, you know, although things are signed under penalty of perjury, ultimately family law is one of those things where you get kind of two totally different stories about the exact same thing, and the truth probably falls somewhere in the middle of the two. You know, maybe somebody's a little bit more credible than the other, and that's ultimately a decision that the judge has to make. But family laws, it seems like it's
Yeah.
one of those animals where people sort of can get away with lying more than, like, let's say on the stand in a criminal law case. But you know, if you're being cross-examined and you're caught in a lie, like, you're caught, right? You're busted, and that will speak to your credibility. And ultimately the judge is going to be like, oh, well, that person's not credible, so I'm going to side with the other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, judges do have to make a call on who's more believable in cases. And I think there's always a clear winner, you know, when you're an outsider standing on the outside, and kind of looking in versus the people who are actually in it. And maybe to some extent, people believe things because they view them from their own perspective and kind of through the prism of their own lens.
Right.
And how do I deal with a client who I think might be lying? It's a great question. Well, ethically, it depends on the type of lie, but if it's a lie, I'm supposed to ethically advise them to tell the truth. And if I feel like they can't tell the truth, then I need to withdraw from the representation.
Okay.
I actually had well, yeah. And then if I find out after the fact, I'm supposed to, like, you know, there are rules all around it. But I think for the most part, my clients are truthful with me, but it's their truth. So
Yeah.
it's not like they're actively lying to me and telling me something that isn't true. I've had it happen one time where a client actively lied to me about something really material. And after the fact, he told me, he was like, I totally lied. That wasn't true. I fudged documents. I did. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
oh my God.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, that kind of left a sour,
Yeah,
sour
because you
taste
can't
in my mouth.
remove the human aspect. Like you're a human being that doesn't
I'm a
want to be
human,
lied
yeah.
to, and your
Yeah.
emotions. You know, you sound like a person that can process their emotions pretty well, though. So compartmentalizing it and seeing it from their perspective. Okay, I get what you were doing. It
He
upsets
wanted
me right now, but I'm just not
he
going to represent you.
he wanted to win, and it didn't upset me so much as I really pride myself in being very, like, honest and forthright, and my reputation in my career is very much about that. Like, I'm not one of these kind of like shisty attorneys who's going to weasel and lie and do all kinds of weird underhanded things. Like, I'm very, like,
Yeah.
upfront and blunt and transparent. I pride myself in that because that's my reputation, and you only get one reputation, and family law is a very small community in a small world. People kind of know each other. The judges know you. So when somebody puts me out there and I'm kind of doing their dirty work and they're using me to do their dirty work on their behalf, and it could potentially tarnish my reputation, that is more upsetting to me than the fact that I was personally lied to. Like, I don't really care so much on that. You know, okay, I understand why you did it. You wanted to win, and you knew that if you lied, you might lose. I get that.
Right. So
Yeah.
for us, I guess we can go back to the fun fact of the day where in relationships, I've done it actually. If my ex actually asked me, you know, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm fine when everything is not fine.
Mhm.
I mean, how do people handle that? I mean, what do we do in I mean, is that part of communication, lacking communication, or the relationship's falling apart and you're like, I'm fine? Or are we just trying to not talk about it because we know that there's going to be an argument started or whatever it is? What are your thoughts on that? When we as women, we say it a lot when
Yeah.
our guy
Women
asks
tend to
us,
say it more than men.
our guy asks us, you know, what's wrong? I'm fine.
Mhm.
How are you doing? I'm fine. When it's not fine.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that when we do that?
I actually mentioned that in my book.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because so it's kind of part and parcel of communication, which is
Mhm.
such a big one, right? It's I talk about the foundation of a relationship, and I liken it to the foundation of a house that's supported by pillars.
Mhm.
And the pillars that I break like relationships down into are honesty, trust, teamwork, communication, and respect. So communication is
I
one
love
of
that.
those pillars that
Yes.
supports the relationship. But I really think that communication is so complex because it's not just about um, how we communicate. It's also about what we are, how we listen. It's kind of like a two-parter. I think that, for example, are we respectful in our communication style? Are
I
we
love that.
honest in our communication style? Like the example I love to give, because I think it happens all the time, is you'll have a woman and she'll put on a dress and she'll go up to her husband or boyfriend and she'll be like, "How do I look in this?"
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And he'll say, "You look great." Now, does he actually think she looks great or not? And the question is, does he feel safe to say, you don't look great in that? And it's not necessarily
Mhm.
you, it's just the outfit. And there are ways to say it. There are like three ways he can respond. He can say, "Ugh, you look terrible in that." He can say, "You look fine," even if he doesn't think it. Or he can say, "You know what? I have seen you wear so many things that make you look so much more, that are so much more flattering on you. You're so beautiful. That does not, it's not flattering on you. And I just, I don't think it looks that great on you." Okay. So obviously number three was very respectfully communicated. It was honest. Now, how can a
Yes.
woman react to that? She can say, "Oh, I'm so deeply offended that you said that." Which what might be the right response if he was like, "Ew, that looks disgusting on you. Take it off." But if he communicates in a respectful and honest way, what she's doing is she's now teaching him, she's conditioning him to lie to her, to not be honest with her. And if we're
Yeah.
not honest in our communication, then we start to kind of either resent each other or drift apart. That's the "I'm fine," where it's not really communicating or expressing anything. It's kind of withdrawing communication. It's not being honest and truthful, because we know "I'm fine" doesn't really mean anything. I had my brother's best friend one time exploded on one of my very dear friends because she said, "I'm fine." And he goes, "What does that even mean?" He was like losing it. He's like, "That doesn't mean anything," because it doesn't. Like if somebody's saying, "Are you okay?" So either we've conditioned that person to say "I'm fine," because every time we want to communicate in an honest and respectful way, we get
Yes.
a backlash. So we're then conditioned to just say "I'm fine" and not deal with it and kind of retreat. Or we say "I'm fine" because we aren't communicating effectively and we expect the other person to just know. And that's
Mhm.
not fair to the other person. So,
No.
if we want to have like a really honest, respectful, effective relationship, then we need to communicate, even if it's something the other person doesn't want to hear. And if you're asking a question and want a specific answer, that's also not honest, like real communication. Because, like saying, "Does this look good on me?" if you don't want the honest answer, isn't fair. It's a
Right.
trap.
I love
So
that.
we're
I think
we're
Joe and I talked about that today. We talked about he had said something and he's like, "Maybe I shouldn't have said that." I'm like, "No." I was like, "I want you to be honest with me. I want to hear it."
I did
Yeah.
not say I don't think I should have said that.
Whatever. Well, I don't remember how the conversation went, but
I
you
brought
know,
it up to say, "Hey, how did you take that?
okay, that's what it was. How did you take
Because
that?
this is how I meant it." And
Right.
it was like, "Oh, we weren't. It how I meant it is not how you took it."
Right. So we
Okay,
did
that makes
communicate that
sense.
part, but I never want to be in a relationship where I'm scared to voice my opinion or my thoughts in a relationship because I
Yeah,
used to be like that in a relationship. Now I'm not talking about scared like they're going to beat me scared, but scared of their reaction of
yeah.
if I'm being honest with them. And I want to be able to say, "Oh no, that doesn't look good on you." Like
Yeah.
not in a bad way, but like, "Oh, I like that shirt better," or "I
Yeah.
like those shoes better," or "I like your hair longer," or
Well,
whatever it
men
is.
are like puppy dogs, right? So you have two forms of training. You can slap them when they do something you don't like, right? You're punish them, or you can treat them when they do the right thing. And I'll tell you, me, you do this really well. Um, you say things like, "Oh, I love the color blue on you. It looks so good." Or you do it to other people.
Mhm.
You're using what we call the mirror effect. You're showing them how to treat you by how you present yourself, or
Yeah.
how, what you say to them in
Right.
communication. Oh, I love it when you wear blue. Okay, that means you want me to wear more blue. So when I put blue on, I get the same kudos. Oh, you look so nice
Yeah.
in blue. So there's a training mechanism there.
I do that for
And
a lot of
so
people.
that's men are easy. Just give us treats,
Yeah.
just give us treats, everyone. Respect us and say we do good.
Yeah,
Good boy.
exactly.
Good
I
boy.
think in a great relationship, what you said about honesty, trust, communication, I think that's great. Because for me, in, in my previous marriages, what was lacking is that communication. I held it all in, and the more I held it in, the less I felt in love with them, the further apart I got from them
Mhm.
because there was no communication involved. It was
Yeah.
I got angry or whatever I felt that they did wrong and I kept it to myself because, you know, I would communicate, but they would respond in a way where they were yelling and there was no it was lack of effort and communication where they were yelling and no it was always me trying to cordially talk to them.
Mhm.
And because of the yelling, I kept everything to myself. I was like, "Okay, I can't say this because 'cause they're gonna yell." So I would
Right.
keep it into myself, keep it, keep it, keep it, and eventually what happens to me is I start pulling away from them and I fell out of love with them.
Yeah. Well, you were conditioned, you were negatively
Mhm,
conditioned to communicate. And the thing is that if you are in a relationship where you feel you cannot communicate, not
mhm,
because, oh, you have some issues and your go to response is I'm fine because you don't want to share your feelings or really, have a conversation. But if the other person makes you feel like you can't communicate every time you try and they shut it down to the point where you have to retreat or you just say, like, forget about it. I'm not going to do
mhm.
this. Like, why would I even try anymore? That's not the right relationship. So
Right.
this is something that, yes, people they're already in relationships, they might be stuck. But if you are in a relationship and you're not yet committed for life or you're married, like these are things that you need to be looking at so that you make sure that you end up in the right relationship. This is one of the many red flags that you're looking for. And it should
Oh,
appear
yes.
before you get into the relationship. It's not something
Yes.
like suddenly like you get married and now the switch flips and you can't communicate, right?
Right.
Yeah. You think you should, in the beginning of a relationship, set up scenarios where you can kind of run the gambit on some of those scenarios just to see the reaction? I
No.
think it's a positive, to be
No.
honest. I think it's positive.
No. I
You
think
should,
it naturally
well,
comes
it,
out
it
within a
does
few
naturally, but
weeks.
I'm saying make a note. We talked about this. It's like a chart. One little red flag shouldn't send you off. Oh, nope. They did
But
this,
you
so I'm out.
shouldn't test
In a
them.
big no, I'm saying you make a note of it, and you're
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, that was interesting how they responded to that little
Right.
moment. I'm just gonna make a note that's not how I like I communicate. And
Right.
if it keeps going, then you look at it like, okay, this is a big red flag. I gotta go. Instead of just washing it, pushing it down, and being like, okay, now I'm just gonna condition. I can't ask her about this, or she can't say that to him, that way. It has to be this certain way. Because then you're tipsy toeing around a relationship and that person doesn't even know you're doing it. I fell into that. I call it, I fell into like, so I love the book, The Power of Now.
I can see
You
that.
probably, yes.
It's on your shelf right behind
I fell deep into it, but I took it probably to the extreme. I didn't have the balance in it. So I
you.
thought I was being happy, but the balance was I just accepted everything.
Mhm.
Because the three things you can do. I don't know if you've ever read it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get just situations. I just accept it. I tried to change it. I go back to accept it, and then I just started accepting everything. And they didn't
Mhm,
even know what I was accepting
mhm,
because I didn't tell them what I was accepting
mhm,
until it just all came out. So that was a negative aspect of that. My I guess journey of trying to keep the peace. You know,
mhm.
um, I was all over the place there, but
That's okay. I remember your
Okay.
original point, so I'm happy to address it if you'd like.
yeah.
We were talking about what you were talking about. Is that something that you should be doing, like testing, essentially testing the
Yeah.
communication and things like that? And I think, okay, so in my book, I talk about this. I think that dating should be treated as a job interview, not sterile, not walking in with a clipboard. It shouldn't be devoid of flirtation. It should be, there should be chemistry, all of these things. But you need to come in looking for certain things, and you need to kind of actively be looking for them while you're having conversation. You're looking at body language, you're listening to what people say, you're accepting what they say at face value and not reading into it or interpreting or giving it some meaning. And so I think that, to actively throw things out there, like, I don't know what to, like, try to test somebody might not necessarily be, I mean, it might come off as like too strong, or it might be too much. But I think if something organically comes up, I think, the other thing is that people, when they date, they try to put on their best selves.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily indicative of reality. So we get this idealized picture of who someone is when they're trying to be the best version of themselves. We don't actually get a glimpse into who they really are until they start to feel comfortable and they start to let their guard down. I'm a big believer. You just charge, you just go in, like
Yeah.
totally authentically you. And if they
Yep.
don't like that, and I think that if you are being authentically you, then you will communicate more organically and naturally and more true to who you are, as opposed to like trying to present some idealized version of yourself. And if they don't receive that, and they're not open to your style of communication, and they're not engaging in a conversation in a way that is effective for you, next.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
agree. I agree
I agree
100%.
with that 100%.
I
too.
like to do this after you note a communication style, or
Mhm.
oh wow, you thought I said that? No, actually the words were this. Oh wow. Okay, I call it, okay, I have stages of conflict. So you have misunderstanding,
Mhm.
and that's the easiest one to fix. You start there. You do a progression before fighting is the last.
Mhm.
Verbal fighting. So you have misunderstanding, or misunderstanding, miscommunication, disagreement. You have agree to disagree,
Mhm.
where you just were not going to agree on it, and that's okay. You just accept it.
Yeah.
And then you have the fight, where people go at each other. And so you never should get to the fight. You should always start with, hey, when you said this, I just want to make sure I took it the way you said it. Can you repeat that to me? Like, what did you mean by that?
Mhm.
And then let them say it. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably like, okay, I can see it from your perspective. If you're in that mind space where you're like
Mhm.
actively trying to listen and put yourself in their shoes and see it from their point of view, it could be squashed at that point. Or, my God, I thought you said, something totally different. Like the words weren't even the same. I misheard you completely. And then you laugh about it. So I like that progression. Don't go to the fight. People do that all the time though. And you've probably seen it so much. It's like, you could just, this is just a misunderstanding that escalated way out of proportion.
I think people pick fights when they're already really resentful of one another. I don't think in general that people just go to the fight right off the bat, unless they're just completely mismatched and not communicating in a mature way whatsoever. I mean, I think the fight comes with like little snippy comments and things like that are very passive aggressive.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
ultimately that builds and that turns into a fight, or, something that doesn't get resolved, like something that is an issue that isn't addressed and there's no communication about it, and people kind of hold it inside. And at one point it boils over and it turns into a fight. But listen, we're all human. There have been times where I've snapped at my husband or he snapped at me, and that's fine. Like, it's not a good thing to do. It's not something that either one of us wants to do, but we do it. And when we do it, it's kind of like, oh man, I'm sorry. Like, you know what? I shouldn't have reacted that way. Or, it's like we're all human, but it's how do you acknowledge it after the
Yes.
fact? And are you respectful? Even if you are disrespectful in the moment, do you justify being disrespectful, or do you apologize for it and acknowledge that that was disrespectful? Because that's how you maintain respect. It's
Yeah.
not like because, oh, one time you were disrespectful. We're all going to be disrespectful every now and then. But how do you recover from it? It's like you acknowledge that you were.
Yeah. Can you
Yes.
humble yourself and be apologetic and not defensive?
I think
On
that's
that, I did this because you did that, but that's why I snapped. It's like, no, you have to remove the apology from the disagreement. You have to apologize for that, just that. And you can
Yeah.
still have a conversation about the disagreement.
Yeah.
That's separate. You didn't, your snapping has nothing to do with the disagreement. Or
And this is really important if you have children, because your children model their behavior after you, and they mirror how they resolve conflict after you. So if they see you and your spouse constantly snapping at each other and treating each other like that, you're adults. You know where that's coming from. You understand what is underlying that conversation or that anger or whatever that moment is. But your children don't see it that way. And like, I had my son say something like, he's 5.5, and he said, Mom gets upset when Dad argues with her. And like, my husband and I don't argue, you know, like we're not. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And it's because sometimes when my husband wants me to, like, he wants what's best for me. And he like sees that I'm very like stressed out or whatever, he starts offering solutions and suggestions. And I don't find those solutions or suggestions helpful. And I know he's just trying to help, and I appreciate that. And I tell him that, but sometimes he just keeps going with it and I get frustrated. So I'm like, you're just stressing me out more, you know? And so he and I understand this dynamic, and he understands that ultimately I really actually appreciate so much that he's trying to help. And I know he feels so helpless and he just wants to help me and make things better for me. So he's trying to offer solutions. But my son sees it as just two adults going at it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it. And so I have to explain to him, like, no, Dad and I, like, we're not mad at each other. Like, we don't argue. Like, Dad's actually trying to help me and offer a solution, which is so nice and thoughtful. You know, I have to like,
yes.
So
Explain.
What are your thoughts on, so this happened the other day. All right. So we're dating.
Okay.
But we're
cat's out the bag, huh? No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. We started podcasting before we started dating. But we dated a little bit. We broke up. We
Workplace
podcast
romance. I get it. This is like the whole gold play thing. Yeah. I get it.
Yes.
Awkward. No. But the other day she was telling me something that was difficult or that was happening, and I said, "Hey, is this a listen moment or is this an active want my participation in resolving the moment?" And she was like, "Oh, thank you for asking me. This is just, I really want your opinion." Great. Let's go. Here's what I would do.
So I'm one of those people, like, I grew up in a household where there was a lot of screaming and lots of, there was abuse, obviously. Like, I grew up in the foster system. So there's a lot of yelling, abuse, whatever it is. And so I've gone the complete opposite way where I don't want to yell. Like, I'm very calm, very patient. I don't think I've ever yelled at my children. Like, I'm one of those people, or yelled at anybody, really.
I've never seen you raise your voice.
I don't. But I don't raise my voice. My kids know when I'm upset because I'll let them know that I'm disappointed. I'll say, I'm very disappointed right now at you. This is what you did. But really, in a relationship for me, and I said that I was never going to settle again. This is my third relationship, basically. I'm not getting married, but communication is key for me because I voice everything that I feel. Like, whatever I'm feeling in the moment, I voice it. And I think, because I said I will never lack communication again in a relationship. I'm never going to hold it in. What I'm feeling at the moment, if he's making me angry about something, I'm going to say it. But, there are a lot of times where he said something and I misunderstood what he said. And I have to process that before it comes out of my mouth. And I said, I will never say something that I don't mean, because there was a lot of times growing up where people were just saying things to me that really messed me up for a long time. And I will never do that to anybody. I don't want to say something that I'm going to regret 10 minutes or the next day or the next day. I want to process it and think about it before, and I want to understand the other person's perspective of why they said what they said or did what they
Yeah.
did. I want to be able to understand it. And like today we had a miscommunication. He had said something and I took it the wrong way. And he meant it a completely different way. And so I had to think about it. I had to be like, did he mean what he really meant? Or did I misunderstand what he said? So when I got home, I talked to him about it, and it was a huge misunderstanding. I took it as a completely different way than he meant it. So communication in a relationship is so important because I could have just blown up on him and said, I
Yeah.
can't believe you called me that type of thing. So I'm definitely I'm going to read it. Is your book on Spotify? Can I listen
Um,
to it? Because
I
I travel a
yeah.
lot for work. And so what I do when I travel and drive 5 hours to work,
Yeah.
I like to put on a book or a podcast and listen. I'm one of those people that I have to like learn about things every single day. So I'd
Yeah.
love to read your book. I mean, I've kind of just, kind of chat GPT'd about your book. So I kind of got the summary, but I want to really read your book and
Okay.
understand your thoughts on love, life, and divorce and communication, trust.
Yeah.
So if it's on
Thank
Spotify, I'd love to listen to it.
thank you. I'm not sure if it's on Spotify. It might be, but I know that it's available on audiobook on Amazon. So I'm not sure about Spotify though.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to play a little game with you. Just kind of answer. It's like if that, if this, if that, and you kind of just answer it for me. Like my first
Sure.
question is, if your spouse cheats once or twice, but begs for forgiveness, then what? What do you do? Do you
Here's
stay?
here's my lawyer answer. It depends. Well, my personal answer is my personal answer is absolutely not.
Personal answer.
Yeah, let's go personal with
Personal.
these.
Don't go lawyer
You don't have to
answer.
go lawyer.
Personal answer.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. Because obviously I did. I stayed. And then it just kept on happening. And then he apologized over
Mhm.
and over and over and never do it again. And then did it
Well, you
again.
ultimately didn't stay.
I mean, I
You stayed for a
finally
little
left.
longer.
Well, if he could get away with it and apologize, then why not?
Know quite a few women that their spouses have cheated and they're staying in the marriage. Why do you think they stay in the marriage?
There's so many reasons. It's so complicated. I mean, for some women who are financially dependent on their spouse, they might
Yes.
feel like they don't have any alternative or it's too scary to make the move. For a lot of
Mhm.
women, they might it could have something to do with their upbringing and their relationship with their mom or their dad and like codependency issues or who knows. And so they might or they might have abandonment issues and this person could be horrible and treat them horribly, but they know that this person will never leave them even if they are out cheating. Like they're still there and they're in it. And then there are those guys who are really good, like they're narcissists and they're really, really convincing that like this is it. Oh, she didn't mean anything to me. This is a one-time thing. Like we can work on it. I love you so much. Showers her with gifts and whatever and talks her into it. But she might want to believe it too. Like, it's like convincing because she wants to believe it because she knows if she doesn't, she has to make the really difficult and scary move. I think fear underlies so much of it.
Yes, that is the
Yeah.
truth. It's the fear of what would
And then
happen.
external judgment. I think a lot of people deal with that too. Like, how is this going to look to everyone that
Mhm.
I wasn't chosen, I wasn't enough, that they left? So that's self-inflicted. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have issues with their own self-worth. And they're like, no, I don't want anyone to know about this. I don't want the family to know. I don't want our kids to know. I don't want my friends to know
Yeah.
that that I was cheated on, because that, that means I'm lacking in something, but that's your own self doubt that
Yeah,
you're not worthy of
it's never
that commitment,
It's never the person who gets cheated
Yeah.
on. It's never their fault. It's, I mean,
Yep.
it's very complex, but nothing justifies cheating. Like even if somebody's like withholding sex for years, right? That doesn't mean that you can just go out and cheat. It means you have to communicate about that. And if that can't get resolved,
Yeah.
the solution
Or
isn't
increase
to
your
go
masturbation.
right. The solution isn't to go cheat, unless the couple agrees that that's okay, and that's the solution. But ultimately, the solution is to
Never works.
No, I know it doesn't. I've represented those people, but but I'm just saying, like, that's not the solution. So it's still, even if you were the one who was like, I'm just not in the mood ever, and like I haven't wanted to be intimate with my partner for 3 years, then again, the solution is to address that and to resolve it some way. And if you can't, then maybe you need to leave the relationship, or who knows. But cheating is not the solution. So it's not you. It's not your
Okay,
fault.
so another question. This is a hard question, I think. Which is worse? Emotional cheating or a one night stand and you just had sex with them one time and it was done, but you had this emotional connection for 6 months? Which is
Emotional
worse?
cheating, hands down.
But you don't have sex with them. You just have this communication, talking to them every day for 6 months, and then, or a one night stand.
That's way more intimate to me, an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Both suck.
I know they both suck, but I'm just saying I believe
Yeah.
emotional cheating is worse than a one night stand.
Yeah.
A one night
means
stand. It's just like any port in a storm sort of thing. It's like basically like masturbation, but with another person. It's like, it's not okay. Don't get me wrong, but it's like there's nothing there. It's like, okay, it's like watching porn. It's like, I'm not saying that watching porn and having sex with someone and cheating on your partner are the same thing, but I'm just saying it's like that person doesn't mean anything. But I think the fact that somebody is stepping into the role that you occupy in this person's life, and taking over that role, that to me is way worse, way more hurtful.
Me too. I agree.
Yeah. The thing about one night stands, though, it's probably not the first or last time.
No.
Because if you're that weak in your mind that you can allow that to happen once, it's probably happened before, and it will probably happen again. The odds are ever in your favor that person's going to be a serial cheater. If a one night stand, if the one about, so you can only prove what you.
Well, I've actually admitted on the podcast.
Yeah. No.
But I've actually admitted in my podcast that after my ex-husband cheated on me and I stayed in the marriage, I had an emotional relationship with someone for a long time, for like, I don't even know, like 6 months, 7 months. And I knew it was wrong in my head. Like I should have communicated what I was communicating with him. I was, about my marriage. It sucked. And that's what I was communicating to him. Everything about my life, my happy news, everything was going to him. And I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway because it was something, it felt good to me that someone was listening and giving me that attention with no yelling.
Yeah.
Really listening to me. The communication was there. And that was lacking in my marriage. And so I continued this emotional relationship. And of course, I would never do that again, but I knew it was wrong, but I still continue to do it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Okay. So what do you think, Joel? You want to do some rapid fire? You want to do some rapid fire? This has to be quick. You can't think about it.
Okay, Sarah. I'll be quick. Let's go.
You got to be quick. Go.
Worst zodiac sign to date?
Scorpio. Sorry if anyone.
Oh, thank God I'm a Sagittarius.
I love Sagittarius.
Better to ghost or fade out slowly. Oh.
You do? I'm a Sagittarius.
I love Sagittarius.
Aren't Aries the best, though?
I'm an Aries, so yes.
I'm an Aries. Aries are the best.
I see it.
You're both Aries. When's your birthday?
March 30th.
When's your birthday? March 30th. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm always going to remember your birthday. I have a good memory.
Yes, she does.
Okay,
get
go.
Better to ghost someone or fade out slowly?
Ghost. Rip off the Band-Aid.
That's right. I do that.
First red flag you personally ignored. You personally ignored.
Wow. I have to really dig way back in the files. This is not a rapid fire moment, guys. Probably my ex-husband and I wanted to be single. I wanted to I was very young. I was 17 when I met him, and
Oh, wow.
he kept pulling me back in. And
Mhm.
even though, and part of it wasn't like an insecurity, like he knew he wasn't right for me, or that I wasn't, like, we weren't quite at the same level. But that was very powerful to me. But I kind of knew
Mhm.
that it wasn't necessarily right. So maybe that.
Right.
Yeah. Most overrated dating advice.
Don't go to sleep mad.
It's overrated.
It's overrated? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
like that. I like that.
You can. You should. You can go to sleep mad.
I think it's better to sit on something and really contemplate it than forcing it when you're not ready to discuss it. If you need to like sit and like think about it.
That's a good
you
point.
know,
That is
Okay.
a very good point.
It
you're going to be
depends
more
on when it
effective.
happened.
Yeah.
If it
I
happened
mean,
very
an
good
hour
point.
before sleep, if it happened in the morning and you went all day and you couldn't get to some type of conclusion in 12 hours, like,
it depends on the day.
I don't know. I think there's
You know-
a time limit.
There's
Just
a
have
saying,
that.
sleep
True.
on it, right? So, I mean, I feel like,
Yeah.
I'll have a sleep on it. I'll think about it. I don't know. It depends on what it is and what happened and what the day was like. I mean, I don't think you shouldn't talk at all. But if it's not resolved, you're not going to stay up till like 3 a.m. just talking,
Yeah.
and don't go to sleep mad. You might still be
Right.
Well,
mad.
there's a difference between being mad. There's a difference between being mad and resolving something. You can
Correct.
you can take the madness down and it's not resolved. Just, hey, we're not agreeing on this, but I see your point. You see my point. We still are not 100% on the outcome,
Mhm.
but you know what? I love you. I'm not mad at you, but we're not done with this.
Or what
That,
about
that to me, that's how I would play it. Like,
or what about I love you and I'm still very upset and we need to talk about it more, but I'm still really hurt or upset or mad.
yeah, that's
that's a
what
good
I'm.
one.
You're taking the anger out. That's all.
Yeah. I like
Okay.
that answer.
Love at first sight, real or ridiculous?
Ridiculous.
Can people fall in love at first sight?
No,
Yes.
It's
Agreed.
infatuation.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is. Infatuation.
Split the check on a date. Date one? Yes
No.
or never?
Never.
First date. Never.
No, it's not a date.
Whoever asked.
Nah,
whoever
man should
asked.
pay.
No. God, no.
I-
Man should pay on the
Just
first date. I'm
Playing
old
devil's advocate. I'm
fashioned
just
like
reading
that.
I'm reading the thing. I
Man
agree.
should pay every single
I
time.
agree.
I'm old fashioned like
misunderstood
that.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know. Me too. Me too.
A toxic trait you seriously admire in someone.
Admire.
Toxic trait.
I know it's like an oxymoron.
You admired someone?
Hmm.
What could it be? What's a toxic trait? What do I like about you that you have a toxic trait?
That's a really
know?
good question.
Are there any? I mean, these are the people. I mean, and if you don't, I mean, it makes sense. Some people like black cat energy, and that's a toxic
Yeah.
trait. They just are attracted to people that are unavailable.
Yeah, I mean, I used to
aloof.
I used to be because that was exciting and like cool, but I mean, after dating and having all my experiences and doing what I do for a living, I think if there's a toxic trait, that's just a red flag. I don't admire that for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yes. Me too.
Yeah, they should have said previously.
Ah,
We should have said previously.
Yeah. Oh, then I
Because
get
we've
it.
all
Yeah,
done that.
really.
I liked Black Cat energy when I was younger. I loved the Black
oh
Cat
yeah.
energy.
What do you mean? When
Like
you were
that
younger?
aloof, like I like
You
you,
mean
but
recently?
oh yeah, probably recently too. Okay.
Oh.
Let's see.
Is
What's
that what
more
you-
painful, heartbreak or the paperwork in a divorce?
Heartbreak.
Okay. Most dangerous, a hopeless romantic or a serial dater? What's more dangerous?
Hopeless romantic. God, I'm such a cynic. All these answers
Then
I'm
a
giving are
serial
so
dater. Yeah.
cynical.
You
Ah,
are.
You
killing it.
Okay. Well,
God.
that was fun. I really like
I
that.
did too. That was I
Well,
like
if
those.
I'm, what part of California are you in? Because I'm actually coming to California in November.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm in
I'm
Los
going
Angeles.
for a conference.
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, you are? I actually been to Los Angeles a couple of times. One for Master Chef when I made it on to Master Chef, and then one for
That's so
vacation.
cool.
That's
That's
very
awesome.
cool that you are in Los Angeles. Well, if I ever make it over there, because I work in oil and gas and I do visit lots of refineries. There are some refineries in LA, so
Yeah. Come say hey.
I need to look you up.
Yeah.
So what is your I have some more questions.
Oh, you have more questions?
Hit me.
Wait,
Go
where are
ahead,
we
sir.
at? Oh, we're at 51. We got like 10
Okay,
minutes.
go.
Let's see. What I like this little segment.
Well, if you're thinking
So-
about the question, then I was going to ask her one question that I always ask everybody.
Okay, go ahead. I know what she's gonna ask.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead, me.
So how long have you been married, Sarah?
My current husband, 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Wow, that's
Okay.
amazing. Okay. So in a healthy relationship, this is what people always tell me. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're right. I don't know. But they said that people should have intimacy, and sex. I don't know, like 3 times a week. So how many times a week do you have sex?
Oh my God, I hope my mom isn't listening.
Is that something that you can answer?
Mom, please just
Oh my
turn
gosh,
off
my
the
mom
podcast.
listens and she'll be like, I can't believe you said that.
You know,
At 52
a
minutes, Mom,
healthy
stop
amount.
listening, please.
Mom, probably stop
Mom,
listening. Okay.
Stop listening, Mom. This is TMI. A few times
Yes,
a week.
yes.
I don't know. Just kind of about. Here's the thing. We
There you
have
go.
Few
a
times a week?
5-year-old.
We have this debate on length of time.
Oh, okay.
You have a 5-year-old?
Well, we have a 5-year-old and
No.
a 17-month-old, and so like
Oh.
when you have, the 5-year-old's fine. The 17-month-old, he wakes up really early, so a lot of times at night we're just like we just got to get in bed so we can maximize our sleep, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like, and I think that it's not necessarily like a rut, because we sort of have the same situation with our now 5-year-old, and then when he started sleeping, things kind of went back to normal. So I don't necessarily think it's kind of like, I think things fluctuate when you have children a little bit, but it's not,
Oh, yeah.
it's not like a lack of
We have
desire or trying. So
Yeah, we have 3, 8, and 4. So and between us too. So
yeah,
actually, me, you have way more kids.
Yeah.
Brady
I,
Bunch.
yeah.
She has almost 20-year-old, 18, and
And the
8.
8-year-old.
Wow.
Run the gamut.
So
Okay,
there you
so
have it.
if you had to choose a celebrity divorce, okay, and you were representing one of the two, and you get to choose who you represent,
Hmm.
J-Lo or Ben,
Ah!
Kim or Kanye?
Oh, Kim.
Which one?
Kim. Yeah.
Kim.
Kim. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kanye's crazy. No, thank you.
The Machine Gun Kelly or Megan Fox?
Wow. Neither.
Ah! Neither?
Neither one.
You have
Neither. No,
have to
I
pick
have
one.
to. I have to. Okay,
Ah!
probably Megan Fox. Probably Megan Fox. Yeah, they
Yeah.
both seem a little crazy. I don't know.
So is you writing a book? What is your ultimate goal with it? Is it something that you just felt like you needed to do to get what you felt out, or is this a path that you're going to continue to write more and more because you just feel like you have something to say?
It's both. I wrote this book because I had when I sat down to write, I couldn't type fast enough. It poured out of my fingers. And I had so much that I wanted to share. And obviously, I don't get an opportunity to speak to people or get to people before they get to my office. The book is really the only avenue to get to people so that they go down a different road and don't take the road that leads to my office. But in promoting the book and, people, they always kind of, when I start talking about relationships, they kind of gather around me, and my husband always jokes around how, like, when you start talking about relationships, it's like, you have this like Jesus effect. Like, people just gather and they want to hear the wisdom that you have to share. And it's like, not that I
Yes.
think I'm Jesus or anything, but it's kind of like he goes, it's kind of really
Yeah.
cool because people really value what you're saying and they're really interested, and you can see the wheels turning. They're thinking about it in terms of their own relationships. And so yes, I'm going to keep writing, because one question that I keep getting asked, okay, well, yeah, I get it. These are the things you need to do to find a meaningful relationship, but I'm already married. Is there anything I can do to save my marriage or save my relationship? And I feel like,
Right.
that's kind of the next book and the next avenue. And I'm going to kind of approach it a little bit differently, so it's not so repetitious with the previous book, but I'm definitely, that's on the horizon. Stay tuned.
Well,
Well,
we
we're
cannot
excited.
wait to listen to it, or I'm audio too.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to read it. I love reading self
Let everyone know where you can get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hardback or soft cover, or the audio.
Okay, soft cover and audio. I don't think there's a hardback. They're available on Amazon or wherever books are sold. You can also find me at my website, which is lafamilylawpractice.com. And there's a link to find the book on there. And the link is also on my Instagram, which is sarah.a.intelligator.esq. And I try to post a lot of helpful videos about, dating and relationships and co-parenting and all things relationships and divorce, and really trying to help people
I love
navigate those things.
I liked your insight, though. You can tell you put a lot of thought into how you present yourself. So I liked how you had a lot of unique thoughts on it.
Yeah.
all the
Thank you for
different
being on the
questions.
show. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I mean, you
Yeah.
just
I
like
had
that. I'm
fun
a fellow
talking to you.
Aries.
It's
Come
so valuable
on.
to
Who are
have
we kidding?
people. Oh, I'm the Aries.
Oh, I'm
She's-
I know,
Sagittarius.
that's
You
what I
she
said you
just
like
likes
Sagittarius.
Aries.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Aries people.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You just like Aries. So
Yeah.
you just
No,
distracted
of
us.
course.
But
That's right.
it's great to have people out there like you that are
Thank you.
putting what they think out there for people to consume.
Well, I mean, it's just I think what's amazing is to be able to read the book and take her advice. I mean, just listening to her, I've learned a lot of things today. So I hope that when people listen to this podcast, that they learn things too.
Yeah. Me too.
And like I've said before to Joel, the reason why I like doing the podcast is I've actually learned things while I'm doing the podcast, and to learn from you. So I want to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm
Really
so
appreciate it.
happy. Yeah. Thank you. I hope people listen and they learn something too.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Till next time.
So next time, everyone.